Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is James, and this is the Real Biased Podcast. I am here with Masterofpwnage. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm Masterofpwnage, or Marcus, as some people call me.
All right. And do you stream? Do you YouTube? Tell us a little bit about your experience in the gaming industry.
I am a Twitch streamer. I started off actually streaming on YouTube a long time ago, before YouTube streaming was even really a thing, and started off playing professional Halo, and not semi-pro professional Halo, and then it slowly evolved into an actual just Twitch gaming stream, where I was building a community around it instead of just being competitive and not really paying attention to Twitch chat.
Fair enough. So we can find you at twitch.tv/Masterofpwnage2. Awesome, there you go. And of course, my name is James, twitch.tv/realbiasedgaming. Catch me there, or youtube.com/realbiasedgaming as well. So, to kick off our first podcast, the first Real Bias podcast, we're going to start with an easy one, a hanging curve, if you will. Favorite games of 2017. Master, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Kind of a two-part question, really. Your favorite games of 2017, but also, and often I find for me, my favorite game, my answer for the first question is not the answer to the second question. So favorite games of 2017, but also what did you spend your time in 2017 playing? What was like one of your most played games in 2017? Yeah, it's super unfortunate, right? That a lot of times we don't spend as much time playing our favorite game as we should, right? But so to start with the first one, my most played game was definitely Life is Feudal, the MMO. And that ended up just being a huge bust for myself and the entire community, I believe, for the most part. The Life is Feudal community or your stream community? Both. Yeah. We spent a lot of time focusing on it. We built, a major part of my community around it, and it was just one of those games that the devs slowly killed with really bad updates, bad releases, bad content. Slowly just chiseled it away. Yeah. So how many like months were you streaming that game? Because I didn't follow it very closely from I checked in on you. I think we met before it came out. I don't think you were streaming that when we first met. But how was it multiple months, or how long were you playing it? I would say that we streamed it on a daily basis for about 8 months. I could be wrong, but about that. Wow, 8 months. Yeah. Dang, dude. And it just ended catastrophically. It was actually really crazy, man, because there was a few game-breaking glitches in the game that would, because everything in that game MMO? Takes... Yeah. Wow. And there's so much time investment put into any small thing in that game, like even just owning a horse is a huge time investment for an entire guild to take care of. And you would lose them just riding them around. They would just disappear from the world. Just poof, gone. And they claimed they fix it over. It was in the patch notes 7 different times that they fixed the game, the horse glitch, and it just never got fixed. And it was nuts, man. Ouch. So literally overnight, it was. I think people just finally got fed up. Everybody, as a community, everybody was like, "This is it. This was the last time we're gonna believe this." Because overnight, it went from typically during bigger hours on the server we were playing on, 3,800 players. It dropped to 800 in over the course of a week. Wow. Yeah, it just died. Dang, rip the feudal life. Yeah. All right. So I guess it's fair to say that maybe Life is Feudal was not your favorite game of 2017. Definitely not. My favorite game of 2017, that's actually a really challenging question. What was yours? Okay. Hey. All right, I'll give you some time there. My favorite game, it is a tough question. And here's the deal, actually, that one of my 2018 stream resolutions was to make sure that I don't miss games that come out during the year, during 2018, that I am interested in. And that seems like the most simple thing in the world to take care of, right? But honestly, last year, I was thinking about last year, the games that I played that came out last year were all B-list games. Halo Wars 2, and Dawn of War 3, which was kind of a bust as well, rip in peace. I played Destiny 2,
and Total War Warhammer 2. And then I played like Darkest Dungeon when the new one of the new patch updates came out. But yeah, like
talk about good DLC.
Yeah, right. That was an excellent one. But yeah, I really would have to give it to Total War Warhammer 2, which was the game that I actually spent the most time playing as well. Because only because I missed all like the big titles that everybody like actually really got excited about in 2017. And so that's why I swore in 2018, okay, I'm not going to miss these big titles. You know, I didn't get to play Horizon Zero Dawn that came out last year. I never touched like the South Park RPG that came out. I didn't play Assassin's Creed Origins or Shadow of War. Right, that was the second one. Was it? I always get confused.
I'm pretty sure Shadow War. Yeah,
Mordor was the first one. Yeah, so I didn't touch any of those. And Destiny was the closest. I probably had the most potential. I mean, I still think Destiny has a lot of potential, but ultimately got bored of that one. And so but I honestly all that being said, I'm not apologizing for Total War Warhammer 2 being my game of the year. I think it was a very deserving game, actually. It's the next step, I would say, of Creative Assembly taking one of their biggest risks and their biggest just creative pushes that they've ever done, actually going into the fantasy world. They introduced, for a series, the Total War series, that typically is just historically accurate titles, and very strong ones, really. They introduced magic, they introduced giant monsters, flying creatures, and like dragons, and all these just incredible effects into this game. And I definitely salute them for that. A game that runs well on not like my PC's the greatest ever, but it runs well on a whole range of machines, certainly, and I'm just so thankful that I was able to stream it without, and have it look good without having my PC melt. And
right.
I think I put 600. Actually, wait, I got Steam right here. Let's see, it's almost 600 hours. Let me check this. Total War Warhammer 2, 540 hours.
That's a lot of hours.
Yeah, in 3 months. Came out end of September, and I played it through November, and then I was playing other stuff in December, and then I played it a little bit more in January. So, yeah. So I would have to give the crown to Total War Warhammer 2, but certainly the diversity of the games of which I was able to taste was a little bit lacking, and I'm a little bit disappointed about 2017 in that sense.
Honestly, yeah. This may seem like a cop-out, but honestly, Total War Warhammer 2 was probably also my favorite game, but probably for a different reason. I was a little bit so there was two sides of it for me. The first side was I was disappointed because I'm a huge Total War series fan, the historical side of it. I've been playing them ever since the very first one, Shogun, came out.
Yeah, same, actually.
Yeah. And so for me, I liked the idea of them using the Warhammer series to pull more people into the Total War franchise. That was awesome. I really liked that idea. And so I thought the simplified combat systems in Warhammer 1 were a way to grab people, introduce them to the series, and then they would slowly add more of those complex mechanics into the game, like unit formation types, shield walls, spear walls, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that in Warhammer 2, and I was very disappointed by that. I really thought they would slowly start introducing those extra mechanics.
Yeah. Well, man, I feel like I could have a whole podcast itself on Total War because while I certainly love Total War Warhammer 2, and there was an incredible amount of work put into it, I do question their choice of, instead of focusing on what you're talking about, they went to the whole Mortal Empires combining the world map of Game 2 and Game 1. It's like, man, talk about something that just took a gargantuan amount of work, like 3 times more work than Creative Assembly even realized, like they've admitted. Like, this was way harder than we thought. And I mean, God, it's just surprised it's in a working state at all, really.
To be honest, and the fact that it runs on every computer. that was
Yeah,
able to run
yeah.
the Warhammer 2 base game.
Yeah, seriously. But it's but there wasn't, in terms of like mechanics, there was certainly not a lot added to it, like you're talking about. The new races and the new world map and like victory conditions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
And see, the irony here is that the reason that it's my favorite game was because of Mortal Empires. But it's odd because for me it really was a double-edged sword, because Mortal Empires, I loved the scale of it, because to me that introduces a whole new platform for them to release their historical series on. And I've been talking about this for years, is the idea behind the Total War franchise no longer being a game-by-game basis and creating a game as a service out of it, and then you buy into the platform and you have access to everything. So instead of buying the next war, or the next Total War that comes out, it's just basically built into the game. Think like you choose what time period you want to play. You've got your world map, and there you go. It's all,
It's
just
all
changes
one-
the factions that are there, that kind of thing.
wow.
And so that's been something I've been looking for a while, and I feel like this is the first step towards that from Creative Assembly's side.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, there you go. Oh, okay. Well, I'm indulge me here. What was your favorite Total War game?
Out of all the Total Wars, I know everybody defaults to
Yeah.
Rome 2, right? And so,
Yeah.
But for me, Rome 2 was lacking. To be completely honest, Medieval 2. I'm fascinated with the medieval time period in Europe. I love it.
Sure.
And so Rome is a little bit too early for me as far as like what I historically truly care about. Medieval 2. The thing that I hated about the medieval series, or the medieval games, was the huge emphasis that they put on the blanking on the names of them right now, like the spies and the priests and all that stuff. Not your units. You basically like
the agents.
The agents. Once you leveled them up, they were like your key. They're like your kings or your queens on the board. Like you could just destroy entire nations with them. They were so powerful. It was crazy. You could equate them to the generals in Warhammer 2.
Yeah. You liked that, or you didn't like that?
I didn't like that. I mean, I feel like the agents, they should definitely have a role. Like they should be powerful, but not. I mean, the ability to send a rogue agent to the king that's leading an army on the enemy, whatever nation, and then assassinate him by hitting a button because you've had him for ever. And he doesn't die,
Yeah.
but the kings do die of old age, and so they, it's just, I don't know, it feels overpowered.
Yeah, no, I feel the exact same way. And actually, that was one of my favorite updates in Total Warhammer 2 was the fact that enemy agents couldn't assassinate your generals anymore.
That was
enemy
a good
agents
move.
they could only affect other agents or your cities and things like that, right? Which I was so happy, because let me tell you, Bretonia, all the way, dude.
Yep.
I've loved Bretonia since I started playing Warhammer at all. Back when I used to manage a Games Workshop store, actually, and my Warhammer Fantasy army was always Bretonia, and I played Bretonia in Total Warhammer 1, and you basically have to level up your general in order to be able to use the high-level Bretonian knights without paying like 10 times their upkeep cost. And so,
Right.
the Chaos Warrior agents would come down, assassinate one of my high-level generals, and then my upkeep would be like negative 10,000 because I have all these high-level horses, but a level 1 general. And I was, oh my gosh, and that was so tilting, because that would ruin your entire run if one enemy agent just walked up and assassinated one of your Bretonian generals. Like it was built into the Bretonia to work that way, to where the general mattered so much. But yeah, just being able to take him out like that. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's been a problem in the
agents.
entire series all the way up to Warhammer 2, right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I love the fact that agents can get on the battlefield, though. That's I could do without agents on the overworld map, honestly. But being able to bring in your like Empire Battle Priest and your Witch Hunter onto the field of battle, I do like that. Was so cool. Yeah, the hero units and everything, and I'm interested to see how they handle it in Three Kingdoms.
The one thing that they did, though, is the pendulum swung the opposite way in Warhammer 2. They made the generals just ridiculous. To kill a general on the battlefield is insane in Warhammer 2.
Well, and it's also the way they did it because it depends on your race, right? If you're one of the races or you pick the right general that has access to a flying, fire-breathing dragon as a mount, then yeah, that general's going to be really, really hard to kill. But if you're playing orcs and all you have is Grimgor Ironhide, then it's just like a little infantry guy.
Yeah,
in late game you can just run him over and he's just worthless.
Right.
But yeah, certainly all the new races with the dark elves, the high elves, and access to their dragon mounts for their generals. It's like, okay.
I mean, even just Kolick, right? Like,
yeah.
Like late game with all of his buffs, he's like 99% resistant to missile damage with the right buffs. And so you're just running around the battlefield, just walking. Like, you could just walk him to the other side of the enemy formations, and he just destroys everything he walks through. And you're like, this is insane. I mean, to me, it kind of killed the PvP side of it when you're playing in the arena or whatever you want to call it. Quick play matches.
Yeah, that's funny too, because that was what led to the dwarves being so powerful in the single player game, was that Creative Assembly tried to buff the dwarves for the multiplayer.
Right.
And then so the dwarves were like balanced in multiplayer, but they were way too strong in single player.
So strong. I mean, like the easiest campaign of any Warhammer or any Total War ever.
Yeah,
the
seriously.
Dwarves. Yeah.
It's like, wait, high armor, high damage, and the only sacrifice you make is slightly low mobility.
Yeah,
but they have a bunch of ranged units and like awesome artillery anyways, so you don't need to chase things down, you just shoot them.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we digress a little bit, but that's half the fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you playing? What are you playing, and what are you streaming now? Again, a question that might have two different answers. What are you playing, and what are you streaming?
Yeah. So, to be honest, I have very little time to actually play games outside my stream. Mm-hmm. So it's never. But when I am streaming, when I am playing games, I'm playing Sea of Thieves, and I'm loving it.
Yeah. Okay. You're still digging it big time.
Oh yeah.
Are you playing? Do you have like a specific like set crew, or do you play with viewers? How's that working?
Yeah. So it depends on the day. So it depends on what my goal is content wise. It's really fun to join a random crew and then just try to interact with them. Role play a pirate captain and just interact with people, and that's kind of fun. If they have mics, it's random. It's a gamble what kind of content you get out of it, which is kind of a part of the fun, right? Because the Twitch stream is able to watch you try to get people to have fun and interact with you.
Yes.
And that could be interesting in and of itself.
Sure.
But normally I have a set crew. It's usually myself, Grim, one of my friends now, and started off as just a viewer, and then later on a mod. He's been one of my longest viewers. Mm-hmm. So
I think I've seen him a couple times.
He
pops on
yeah.
my channel every once in a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So we typically crew up together in a sloop because I find personally the sloop is the best ship in the game, as opposed to the galleon.
There are only two, correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, it's the galleon and the sloop. Okay, and so the sloop is like the smaller, faster.
Yeah, so actually the sloop is slower but more agile. Mm-hmm. And it has I don't know the proper terms for naval warfare or anything, but it doesn't go as deep into the ocean, so you can get closer to islands and accomplish missions faster. Use shallower water as a getaway from galleons, that kind of thing.
Okay, it has a lower displacement value.
Yes, there we go.
Fair enough. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. I've been, as I said, I've been trying to play all the new big games that are coming out. So yeah. I played Kingdom Come, and I actually finished The Witcher 3, which is a little older, but kind of on that bucket list there this year, or just recently. But right now I'm actually playing Monster Hunter World. And
how do you like that?
I adore it. I consider myself a student of like the MMO genre, and to me, the systems and mechanics in Monster Hunter World are everything I would hope for from an MMO, even though it's technically, like, in my mind, one step removed from an MMO. It's not quite there.
Yeah, a lot of games are doing that.
Yeah, and it's so good. And it's everything, honestly, it's everything I complained about Vermintide 2 not having. To me, they're like almost the exact same game, except you actually have exploration and you actually have like crafting and professions in Monster Hunter World, and you could actually show off the gear you have in Monster Hunter World, and it's excellent, and it looks like that's the game I'm going to be sticking with for probably the next month or so.
Is there any form of PvP in Monster Hunter World?
I haven't seen it yet. I've been streaming just this past week. I don't know. There's this thing called the Arena, but I'm not sure if the Arena actually means you're fighting other players, or
if it's like a race to kill something.
Yeah. So because you can sign up for it, but unsure about that. And I don't think the game's balanced for such.
Definitely
PvP. Although the combat would be, I mean, it is this really, really cool action combat, right? That's lots of moving around, lots of combos and things like that, and involves trying to get people like knocked over and stuff. It would be some really. I'm trying to think. I'm sure I played a game. It'll come to me eventually. I'm sure I played a game that is PvP that has this like kind of combat. Because it's a lot of fun, and I do run into the same actual problem that you were mentioning. I don't have a whole lot of time off stream, but mostly that's by choice. I'm like trying to. I do a lot of writing in my off time. If I didn't, I might be actually like playing more games off stream. But
right.
All right, so you're playing Sea of Thieves. Now I'm interested, and this is all purely speculative. Nobody's gonna hold you to this one. But what is your prediction for Game of the Year for 2018? Is it a game that's already come out, or are you looking into the crystal ball, into the future, and a game that you are hyped about, that you would maybe a game that you would love to see become Game of the Year 2018? Because obviously we don't.
So if you don't mind, let me break this down a little bit, right? Because Game of the Year is really just a vote, right? Sure. It's whatever the community as a whole decides is the game of the year. And so if I want to give an honest prediction, we got to break down what gamers are looking for as opposed to what I'm looking for. If I was going to choose, I would choose something that's more platform as a service or like game as a service, something like Sea of Thieves. Something along those lines where it's like a player-driven content, because that's really where I thrive. That's what Life is Feudal is all about. That's what Sea of Thieves is all about. That's kind of where I thrive, is letting players drive the content, the way, driving the experience. But I'm seeing a lot of negative impact from Sea of Thieves and the quote-unquote lack of content, and so I don't think a game like that will actually ever be voted as Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I would say it's going to be more something like, what's that game called? The Prison Break, A Way Out. I'm thinking something like A Way Out. Yeah. Because co-op, I think, is making a huge comeback. Because for our generation, like you have people you're in my age, it's really, we remember sitting on the couch playing that co-op game with a friend. And so there's a lot of like reminiscing that's happening when you're playing these really awesome story-driven co-op kind of games. So I'm thinking something like A Way Out will probably make its way to the top of those lists.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good you broke it down like that. That's interesting. So for you, you're saying your Game of the Year prediction, just for you personally, would probably be Sea of Thieves or potentially something like it that comes out. Yeah,
something similar where there's not a whole lot of content, but the focus is player interaction.
Interesting. Man, we are such different gamers. I have an impossible time with, as they say, the emergent gameplay genre. Where, like, man, I need objectives. Like, give me something to do. Come on.
See, that's so funny, man. And that's the beauty of the game industry, though. And I love it, man, because it can bring so many different people together that, like you and I, we're interacting right now and we're having a good time talking about it, but we're just two completely different people with different objectives and goals in life and in games.
And completely different lengths in beards as well.
Yeah, that too.
All right, so let's move. Actually, you know what? That works really well because the spirit of this like Game of the Year and mechanics and what you're really looking for, what you're looking forward to. I'm interested, Master. I one of my viewers brought this up on stream. Actually, was asking me about this. And they asked me, what is your ideal game? Like, what is your favorite game? And it's a really hard question. So we actually talked about this for 3 or 4 days in a row on stream with all kinds of people, and it's really fascinating answers. But for me, I had to break it down, and I was more thinking, what are some mechanics in games that I absolutely love? Because to me, right, the perfect game, or like my favorite game, the greatest game ever, hasn't actually come out yet.
Yeah.
Right, but certainly there's a bunch of games that involve mechanics that I absolutely adore, that I think are all time, you know. And so if you could design a game, do you have like a specific game that you would kind of point to as the ideal, or do you have a couple mechanics from games where you're like, man, that the rest of the game wasn't as good, but that thing was just legendary?
Breaking down mechanics is one of my favorite things. So I don't know about you, but I'm a meta gamer. I don't even mean to be, but I end up breaking down the meta in every game I've ever played. It probably comes from my past of playing like Magic the Gathering, right? Mm-hmm. It's just something I do. I look at everything, I observe it, I examine it, I test it, and I go, okay, this is the best way to do this. And so mechanics are one of my favorite things to talk about in games. And I've got this idea. So for me, FPS. Then that just comes from my competitive FPS background.
Okay, we can start there. All right.
Yeah, so FPS games are my ideal perfect game. I really enjoy them. I think it's probably the best form of competitiveness, as far as like, because there's so many factors to it, right? It's both your reaction time and speed, but it's also tactical team communication and that kind of thing. So it would have to be a team-based shooter. And if you allow me to imagineer something really quick, I had this idea for a mechanic a while back, I'd say about a year ago, and it's been just inside of me, and I've been developing it in my, like laying down to go to sleep at night, thinking about this weird mechanic that I'd thought up. Mm-hmm. And it would be...
Like we all do. All gamers do that, yeah.
And so imagine an FPS game where you have very small arena-style combat. So it'd be no bigger than like a standard Halo 2 map, like the smaller Halo 2 style maps. And be like 4v4, but each player on the opposing team has a different ability. So you've all got your basic pistols, guns, whatever. It could be futuristic, doesn't have to be. And they have abilities, like one guy, and both teams are exactly matched. So they both have opposing abilities that are identical, but each one has their own. And it's randomly selected for each team member. So when you go into the match, you don't know which one of the 4 you're going to have. And it would be things like really, really dramatic things. So the ability to pause time for a moment. And I'm talking like half a second. Because in a shooter, a half a second is an infinity. So only the player that casts it is able to move around for that half a second. And so think bullet time times a billion, because it stops time. So you stop time, you see a bullet in front of you, you sidestep half an inch, the rocket zips by. But then the other guy can do the same thing. So you pause time, he pauses time. So now for that half a second, there is 2 people moving, potentially. Maybe he already used his ability.
Right.
And so to me, this is probably like a technical thing that can't happen yet, because you'd have to have all the gamers in sync at a very high rate for it to work out properly. As far as like networking goes, very low pings and that kind of thing. Maybe somebody else can speed up time. Stuff like that, or maybe create a portal. Like basically, what I want to do is play with time within a shooter. That's the goal.
Okay.
So it either
you weren't using
slows
time
everybody
as like
down, or speeds everything up, or pauses time and only allows certain people to move.
Okay. Yeah. So you weren't using time as like just some random example. Like you specifically want abilities to dealing with bullet time and stop time. Okay.
And so because I think I've never seen it in a multiplayer game. Because it's a complex thing.
Yeah. I
imagine throwing on a bubble.
Really simple ones, but
yeah, like imagine throwing on a bubble where like there's like a 20-foot ring around you for like 10 seconds, and for that 10 seconds, as you move, the bubble follows you. You're able to move at normal speed, but anything that gets inside that bubble slows down. And so when somebody's shooting you, they shoot into the bubble. The bullet slows down, and I'm able to sidestep. The bullet leaves the bubble and speeds back up. Stuff like that, like just really interesting player interactions.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, that's interesting. That sounds to me like almost like the next step beyond like Overwatch, right? Because Overwatch is like the next step beyond Team Fortress 2. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, a class-based shooter. Okay, like how about a class-based shooter where throughout a match, you charge up a like ridiculously powerful ability of some kind, right?
Yep.
That, like as a very general premise, right? We can all argue about whether Overwatch does it right or doesn't or whatever, but like, the general premise, right, is like you have some ridiculously powerful abilities, and you want to go beyond that, and like just like over the top, time stopping, like squad based tactical shooters. Interesting.
Yep. And then, but then the key is that everybody has the same abilities. Because one thing that I'm tired of and so this is something that I think the game industry is getting wrong. And I am a strong believer. So I used to sell IT stuff, right? And software and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing that I know for a fact is that the users of software or games, the players, they think they know what they want. They'll say what they want, but typically they don't actually know what they want. Yes. So they'll say, this weapon's too weak, make it more powerful. And then the developer goes, okay, we'll make it more powerful. So they up it, and then everybody's like, oh, the weapon is too powerful now. All everybody does is use that. There's not enough variety. Like, well, you guys asked for it. That's what you wanted. And so what they really want is a balanced, competitive game.
Yeah.
And so in order to do that in an FPS, I truly think you need to take out all progression. You can't have both worlds. You can't have progression and competitiveness. Those two things don't match. Mm-hmm. Because if there's progression, that means whoever played more has better stuff. Right. And therefore the competitiveness is now removed. Is no longer competitive. It's who has more time.
Right, which, yeah.
And so, but everybody complains about games not having enough progression, but then they also complain that there's not, competitive PvP. And so they want both worlds. And so I'm saying take out all progression. Man. Yeah, man. So I'm saying take out all progression from the game that I find ideal. Give everybody the same exact abilities. And if you want cool things like cool weapons and that kind of thing, have them as player drops or have them as weapon drops or weapon spawns in the world that there's only one or two of that you have to get to as a team competitively when you start out on even ground. And so every match has potential for you to maybe have short-term progression by grabbing the rocket launcher or grabbing a sniper rifle. But don't let somebody choose to spawn with a sniper rifle because they played longer.
Oh, man, I like that. That's good. I could imagine a system. I immediately go to Destiny, right? I immediately think of Destiny. Although they say they balance the numbers once you go from PvE to PvP, but
we all played it. I mean, I played it. It's
exactly.
not true.
We know how imbalanced it is. Exactly.
Right.
And I could definitely foresee some kind of game where you have the progression and everything, the thing that I love, right? No, don't take away my progression. And
right.
I want to grow. I want to be weak at the start and awesome at the end. But then you go into PvP and like maybe they you can toss in like I want this weapon on the map or something like that, right? Like the weapons that all the people who are playing the match have earned, random weapons from all of them like end up on the map. Right, and then you can
even if it was a public vote during load. So like I'm thinking
exactly.
Imagine like an Overwatch beginning, but instead it has the best weapon from everybody's pool of stuff they've earned in single player, and everybody has to choose which ones are getting voted into the map.
Yeah, and then you'll have specific spawn points. So you could even choose. I mean, to me, just anytime you get a choice, a simple choice that doesn't affect too much is always going to be more fun, right? And so you could choose like, okay, there's these 5 spawn points on the map. This spawn point, you could vote for like this kind of weapon will spawn there. This kind of weapon spawns over in this spot. It's like, okay, do you want the rocket launcher spawning on the high ground or the sniper rifle or do you want to troll the enemy and have the shotgun spawn up there? So like you have to go up there and get it and come back down to get the close combat action in.
My God, we need to develop a game.
There you go. Yeah, no, that sounds great. That sounds awesome. There you go. Okay, so I'm gonna answer the question, and I'm gonna have you kind of think about, if you could, for me, instead of so much imaginary mechanics, I guess I would say, not like. I mean, yeah, you understand what I mean. But if you could think of a specific game. A specific mechanic in a specific game that iterates what you were just talking about, or just like a completely different mechanic that
I can name it right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Go for it.
Yeah, the matchmaking from Halo 2. Bring it back.
Okay. Explain.
Yeah. Okay. So the matchmaking in Halo 2 is, as far as I'm concerned, the number one competitive matchmaking system ever created, and they stopped doing it, even in Halo.
Wow.
And it drives me absolutely insane. It uses the classic ELO system that chess players use professionally. And so the better you perform, the better your ELO score. If you perform badly, it goes back down. You get paired back down again.
Yeah.
And so it's a performance-based matchmaking system. The downside, the only downside to the system is that if you're exceptionally bad at the game or exceptionally good, matchmaking time goes up because there's less players at your level.
Sure. Yeah.
And so that's the downside, and that's why they did away with it.
Well, that's an inherent problem in many matchmaking setups.
Oh,
isn't it?
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so, but again, this goes into my progression thing, you know, like the later games, it's based on some number, based on basically how much time you've spent. So you'll be like, well, I'm level 51, but your level doesn't go down. So it's not really a performance indicator. It's more of how many matches have you played.
Interesting. You're telling me later Halo matchmaking was based on time spent playing the game?
Yeah. Yeah. It's based on a number that can't go down.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Yeah. And it's the same thing in every quote unquote competitive game today. If you look at any of the Call of Duties, all of them are the same. It's just, Call of Duty goes so far as it's completely random. It doesn't matter how many times you prestige. You can play against a first-time player at, third prestige.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
It's just absolutely insane to me. And so for me,
Counter-Strike does it, though. Counter-Strike uses like that ELO system.
Yeah, that is true. So Counter-Strike,
like a bracketed system.
Yeah, and Counter-Strike is probably, I think we could both agree on this, the most publicly known competitive game around.
Oh yeah,
as far as FPS goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I often will cite CS:GO as the perfect game in my mind.
Yeah, and it's just
when it comes to being
done much change forever.
Competitive. Yeah, exactly. It's just tweaks, small tweaks over 20 plus years, since 1.6.
Yeah,
right? Like just tweaks the formula, and then it looks a little bit better, and you mess with the maps a little bit, but. Yeah, just from an esports and from a fan perspective, I think it's the perfect game. Not like it's not on my top 20 favorite games of all time personally.
Me
but
either.
I do think it is like the perfect esports game just because of the mechanics and the dynamics with the team game.
I think it's the template for any game that wants to be an esport in the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I honestly, and again, we won't go too far down this rabbit trail, but I watch a lot of esports, and I've been a big fan of League of Legends for a long, long time. Esports, I haven't played the game in a long time, honestly, but I still enjoy watching it. And Overwatch League, I've been watching a lot of. And honestly, Overwatch League lacks a lot of the drama because you respawn in 3 seconds. And and your ults come back up and like that. Yeah, it's kind of cool, but you get a pick on somebody. It's like, sweet, we got a pick. We now have 10, maybe 15 seconds of an advantage. Yep. To like try and make a move. Whereas like Counter-Strike, you have to be able to execute. And if you're out, you're out for that whole round. And of course, there's also the possibility, 2v5, 2v6 in Overwatch. Like there is not even a statistical number, right? It's literally 0% chance that you're doing anything, right? That you're going to overcome those odds. But 2v5 or even like 1v5, I was watching, I think it was the Katowice major for CS:GO last month. And in the finals, there were 2 1v5s. One for each team, one in map 2 and one in map 3, where one guy clutched it out versus a full enemy team. Like you just cannot have that in Overwatch. And those are the moments
those are the moments that make that match memorable.
Yeah, and make the whole thing memorable. Exactly.
No, because I don't consider Counter-Strike a modern game, to be honest.
That's fair.
No modern game does that.
Yeah.
And
what are you going to remember about Overwatch? It's like, do you remember that time Winston hit his ult? Wait, you mean the second time or the third time? No, I think it was the fourth time. It's like, well, right. Okay.
And that's exactly what I mean. There's no truly memorable moments in competitive gaming in modern games. Mm-hmm. And that's super disappointing to me.
Yeah.
Like, I miss the old school Halo 2, man. Where you get that overkill in a match is 1v4. You grab that sniper rifle, you get 4 headshots in that clutch moment and grab the flag for the capture. And everybody's like, oh my God, and It's just this crazy, awesome clutch moment, and that doesn't happen anymore, man. Why?
Yeah.
Give them back. I want those back.
Yeah, that was one of my thoughts about like co-op games like Vermintide 2 or even like Sea of Thieves. It's like, man, if you want a co-op experience, if you want to have co-op experiences, that was exactly my example. It's like my co-op experience was playing Halo 1 and like me and my buddy trying it on like, the next high level of difficulty, like playing it on heroic for the first time. And then our first run in with the hunter pack, right? With 2 hunters. And you just like, that is a memory, right? That's the real deal when it comes to playing games with other people.
Yeah. I remember Halo 2, remember the Warthog escape scene where everything's blowing up around you and the ground's falling out underneath you. You're getting off the Halo and you got to get to the drop ship or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to get to the Pelican. Yeah. And dude, I'll never forget, man. Me and my buddy sitting on the couch, me and my roommate at the time, and we're just freaking out. We're trying to get there. We're playing on Legendary. We're like, oh my god! It was just a super awesome moment.
Yeah. It just comes out of nowhere. Yeah. No, you love it. You love it. Absolutely. Yeah. So that and that actually really does feed into. I have 8 billion ideas that I can get super pumped about when it comes to mechanics in video games. But I'll definitely draw from some actual mechanics out there, which for me, the greatest game or the greatest mechanics out there involve some form of storytelling, right? Okay. And to me, that the end of Halo, right, is like, okay, you're escaping. It's like a beautiful mix of gameplay mechanics where you're driving the Warthog mixed with the importance, the motivation, the peril that comes with that story, right? You have the entire campaign behind you. You need to get off the Halo so you can go warn people about the Halo. And obviously, you just want to survive and all that stuff, right? But I think of 2 games. 2 games that really were very influential in just getting me to stream at all, to try and talk about video games, is Mass Effect 2 and BioShock Infinite. And I love BioShock 1 as well. I never actually played BioShock 2.
I've never played Infinite. I've watched it played on stream.
Yeah. So it's and the thing about Infinite is, to me, is that is a game that is carried by its world and its story. And then a lot of people can kind of like take or leave or like love or hate the combat. I really enjoy the like frantic flying and leaping and going around on the rails with your little the hook that's on your arm and just like flying around to a completely different part of the map and fighting these guys and then flying somewhere else and fighting these guys and flying somewhere else, getting a health pack. And I really enjoy that, but it was not something. It was a kind of more divisive sort of like, well, the combat's okay. And, once the dust settled about BioShock Infinite. But what I love about it is I really am a big proponent of the motivation that story gives to a player, right? You elevate all the other aspects, mundane or simple or grindy mechanics in a game can all be elevated through story and through setting, right? And that's why I enjoy MMOs and why I really encourage things like exploration. And I'm really enjoying Monster Hunter World right now because it really encourages that exploration. You're rewarded to go out and you literally get points that you can like spend on things if you're exploring every corner of the world. You're learning about the monsters that exist there. That's kind of part of the world and part of the story. And then so that's what Mass Effect Infinite does. What Mass Effect 2 does is that it gives you the same motivation, but to me the motivation in Mass Effect 2 is more for the characters. I assume you've played Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Okay, yeah, okay. So, well, yeah, it's fair enough. Just want to make sure you have some context.
Yeah.
But just in Mass Effect 2, it's really all about the characters and all about going and doing their loyalty missions, right? Which is literally hey, let me go help you out with some part of your past or some part of your current life that's like distracting you, so I can have your full focus when we go on this suicide mission, right? When we go on this really intense, probably not coming back mission. Let's take care of all your business before we go. And there's you have all these crew members, and every single one of them has these loyalty missions that you can go and doing that mission, right, is like it's an excuse to go do some combat and do some shooting, use your cool abilities and everything, but it builds this connection with these NPCs, with these other characters that you're playing with, right? And that to me I would rather have that over like the emergent gameplay, right? Over playing with like a friend in some game and like trying to find our own fun. Like I would always choose to do something like Mass Effect, where like give me an NPC character that's written well, that you feel like connected to, and when you have that, you know, I think you can make any game mechanic excellent because you're just motivated to do it because of the way the story's written, because of the character that you're doing it for, that you're doing it with. So that's my idea.
I agree, and I think that's probably one of the most overlooked things in gaming, because that's something that only games can do, is when it comes to all forms of entertainment, right? Mm-hmm. It's the ability for you as the player to feel extremely connected to a character, not by watching their story unfold, but by actually being involved in that character's story firsthand.
Yeah. And I honestly, I don't mind, although sometimes it sounds weird like saying it, but like there is literally a place in my heart for Liara. Liara Tassoni, the blue alien girl from Mass Effect in the series, because the way that character's written and the way they make it happen, you know, where you can romance her in game 1 and in game 2 and even in game 3 actually. Although I don't like to talk about 3, but that's besides the point. It just the way that she's written, the connection you can make with that character is like, you step away from the game and you're like, I think I have a crush on like this digital character that I legit like spent a bunch of time with, who was like talking to me, or talking to my character, right? But that's a profound gaming experience, and that's when I say it's something that got me to interested and pushed me to live stream, is like, I want to be able to experience those things, you know, the ending of BioShock Infinite or those character moments in Mass Effect 2. I want to be able to experience those moments with other gamers. The same way you were saying, you playing Halo on the couch with your roommate at the time. Like, yeah, like my college was actually, either Super Smash Brothers. I lived in a house with 6 other guys my junior year, and it was most of the time somebody playing a single player game, and then people would like come back from classes or go in or out into our big living room, and they just sit on the couch and we'd all like talk about the game that one person was playing. And we never had to, it was such a cool camaraderie. We never had to like roll dice to see who would play that game or whatever. It's just, we just kind of played and like, oh, this guy's playing. Okay, I'm not going to play. I'm just going to watch. And
I had the same experience with Final Fantasy VII back in the day.
Oh yeah,
that was We were we were in the middle of a playthrough, and whoever got home first started playing. The other person would sit down and watch.
Yeah. Right, there you go. You'd like share the same save, exactly. And then from the couch you'd be like, okay, no, don't use a potion. You know, like no, you can get another swing in before you got to use it or something like that, right? Like you get, and that's why actually I encourage backseat gaming in my stream as well, because to me it's like it's like Chad is sitting on the couch.
Yeah, it's the original Twitch.
Yeah, exactly. And you get to experience that with them. And so I love those gaming story experiences so much, and that's what I want to share with other people. And so that's the mechanic that I would certainly work into a game if I was going to make one, if I was able to wish one into existence.
Right. Yeah.
That would
I
be
agree.
very important.
On that note, man, have you played Final Fantasy 15?
I just finished it just a couple weeks ago on stream, actually. Yeah.
Did you feel connected to the whole crew?
Okay, actually, you know what? The answer to that question is yes. I really loved the other guys, right? The boy band.
Yeah, me as well.
Yeah. I think I lost connection to the world and to the story because I think the pacing was really, really odd.
What is up with that?
Yeah. People were in my chat were saying that it was rushed, or like they cut it off like halfway through. It was going to be just an add-on to Final Fantasy 13, and then they're like, no, we're going to make it its own game. And they did all this other stuff to it, and so a lot of that ended up being kind of a rush job.
Oh, that sucks.
But there's no doubt the dudes that you spend the time with driving around in that car in the open world is a very unique experience, a unique and exceptional gaming experience in my opinion.
And at first I was like, what is happening? Why doesn't this car go any faster? And then like 2-3 hours into the game, I'm like, I'm really excited to get back in this car to see what we talk about.
Yeah.
It was the weirdest, strangest thing I've ever experienced in a game, but I'm like, I can't wait to go on the next cruise.
Yes. And Ignis, the cook. I want that dude to narrate everything.
Yes.
Everything I listen to forever. Oh my gosh, I could listen to him talk just, oh my goodness. Like him over Morgan Freeman. Seriously. That guy's voice was, the character was
wow, that's a huge one.
Yes,
him over Morgan Freeman. You want him to do some like audiobooks for you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, or just voice over all future video games that I play. Would be good too. Yeah, I'd be down. Yeah, that was definitely an example, I would say, of one thing done really well in a game that was overall probably just like above average to me.
Yeah.
Because certainly the your 3 character buddies and the things you do, and not only that, but you get all the cool like the dual attack animations. When you're in combat, and then you just like randomly get to do something cool, and the one guy like flips you over his back or whatever, and you just like come crashing down with your sword on the enemy. And you're like, whoa, that was awesome. And other parts of the game not so good, but
yeah, I agree. There's a lot of misses, but the overall connection to the characters they did so well on.
Yeah.
How about KCD, man? How did you feel with that? Because I know we both played that as well.
Yeah. So that, man, there's so many biased opinions about Kingdom Come Deliverance. Oh my goodness. It's, I mean, until I started playing Monster Hunter World, it was probably my vote for Game of the Year for 2018.
Did that come out in 2018?
Yeah, it came out in end of February or first week of March, I believe. Okay,
that's going to probably be my top 5 for Game of the Year then. I thought that came out at the end of 2017.
Let me see this. Let me double check here. Oops. What was the release? Yeah, February 13th.
Okay. Yeah. So that's got to be it's got to be top 3. Game of the Year.
Yeah, it was, and it's funny, I feel like it was actually an interesting mix of the worlds, because usually I don't enjoy games that you're talking about, like Life is Feudal and stuff, where just like, you have so much of an investment into stuff in order to get it. Yeah. Like your horse you were mentioning, but with Kingdom Come, I loved it. I loved that for the majority of the game I was really weak. Now, I was surprised because probably the second half of the game, turns out like I could pretty much just one-shot everything, and I could 1v8 whatever, in my heavy armor with my mace and my shield. So that was kind of surprising, but it was really refreshing, and so refreshing and surprising that I fell in love with it. Experience of those first 10 to 20 hours where you're a nobody. And you don't have anything. You don't have any money. You don't have any armor. You just gotta survive.
The definition of a peasant.
Yeah. And it was fun because that kind of played into some of your moral decisions that you had to make. Like, am I going to steal stuff? It's like, well, I legitimately don't have any other way to get money right now. And of course, again, by the end of the game, like, okay, I literally had thousands and thousands of groschen or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was very interesting, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It's definitely up there in top 5 for me, 2018 as well.
The only thing that I can say about KCD, about the story side of it, was that you invested all this time into courting these women, right? You'd get to the love scene, and then they would never talk to you again.
Yes.
It's like nope, story's over. It's like, wait, what? Are we going to get married? Like, what next?
Yeah, that was obviously rushed.
Yeah.
Not completed. Yeah, feels bad.
Yep. But overall, like the connection to that character, oh my god, so good.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny, actually, very much like Final Fantasy 15. I had the most fun playing that game when I was not playing the single player, when I was just like out roaming the open world and doing like random side quests. To me, parts of the single player campaign were like interesting, and plenty of exposition, like medieval historical stuff was. I'm interested enough in that. I'm no historian, but I'm not a history teacher. I'm a math teacher. Okay, but I do enjoy that time in history, and so that was very interesting. But most of the time, I would just much rather just be out leveling up lockpicking or just like, you know, hunting stuff in the forest. Or just that was easily, it just did such a good job of making you feel like you were really roaming the countryside and like, okay, do I have enough food on me to last me the rest of the day, you know? And
and then everything you do really feels impactful. Like you're like, okay, I'll shoot this deer, but what if a poacher or what if one of the king's guards sees me?
Yeah.
Because early on, like I had pissed off like the guards, so they would randomly search me whenever I'd walk into town. And so I'm like, I really need to get this poor guy some food. But if I poach it, I might get caught and then end up in jail. Like, oh man.
Yeah, no, that was quite the game. And to me, it does get a few extra points for just kind of being bold and different. And just, it certainly benefited from not having a lot of great RPGs having come out recently as well.
Well, and counter to what all these professional Reddit historians believe, it's so historically accurate that actually there's a couple European universities that are now using it as a staple centerpiece to some of their courses.
Ah, there you go. Hey, that's awesome.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. No, it did a lot of interesting things that you would think would be, you know, things that the gamers would say, oh, you're into that? Wow, you're a nerd.
Yeah.
You know? But it made him fun. It made him interesting. And yeah, I did really appreciate that. Yeah, that's maybe well, okay, no, let me just spend a couple minutes talking about the one more mechanic here, because that is the topic we're on right
sorry
now.
for the digression.
Oh, no, the mechanic, well, I'm going to talk about Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is the mechanic of the gear. The gear, and I love so much that your starting shirt, right? Your little like dirty red shirt or whatever that you start the game in.
Yeah.
It's like green or whatever the color. That has a bunch of stats on it. You know, it has a sneakiness level. And it has defenses against bludgeoning and slashing and everything.
Yeah.
And that kind of depth in an RPG system gets me really excited. Like that's I love that. I love all the numbers that you would look at on your gear and be like, okay, do I want to use this, or is this worth holding on to? Then obviously, again, later, by the time you got later in the game, it's like, okay, I'm just going to wear all plate armor and be awesome. Be unkillable and untouchable and everything. But like,
right.
Early, you know, which was in a way kind of a bummer, because in the middle of the game when you first started getting some of your armor, and then you realize you take a couple hits and you're like, oh my god, this is really expensive to repair this gear. And it's way more expensive to buy new gear. And you're like, oh my gosh, I need to get, but the response is, I need to get better at combat so that I save my gear, right? Or like, I need to stay out of combat if I can, because, right, there was that sweet spot in the game. Before you got to the end game, you got the sick gear that made you unkillable. Like, it's where that felt really, really good. It felt like, okay, I'm going into combat, but like, this is going to be an investment. I need to get my money's worth out of this fight, from the gear I pull off these guys or something. Otherwise I'm going to go broke because I don't have enough money to repair everything. That was exceptional.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, I don't know if you know this, but I actually do HEMA. I practice HEMA, Historical European Martial Arts.
Oh, yeah.
So, I always tell people whenever because everybody would ask me, because a lot of my viewers know that. So they're like, how realistic is it? And my answer is always, well, it's as close as you can get to fighting HEMA while it's still a game.
Digitally, yeah.
Yeah, okay. because if it was fully realistic, an untrained player would never be able to block an attack. It would just be insane. Like, especially if he was fighting like a skilled opponent in the game. He would be striking you faster than you'd be able to even comprehend, like, oh, I need to block. And so, yeah, but it's close. It's very close. And the reason I bring that up is because by late game, you got all this plate mail and you feel invincible. And that's because realistically, a knight walking around in plate mail was invincible.
Was he?
Yeah, I mean, he was the epitome of like what a tank is today on the battlefield.
Right.
And so he's going to walk around just mauling people, and you're going to hit him in the back of the head, and he's going to turn around and smash you. Like he's going to be like, you're like, what the hell was that? And so
it was a real powerful defense back then. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and so yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. But the point is that you're right, because early on you felt really meager. I guess you could die from anything. You could starve to death. You're like, I need to find food. I'm going to die.
No, I was walking around the forest at night at like level 2 or something like that, and I broke both my ankles, and I was like bleeding. I was like, what is going on? I'm going to die in the middle of the forest. I didn't even know how to play this game yet.
Dude, like, oh my gosh, exactly. And I loved that feeling. And then by late game, you're just like, I'm unkillable at this point. And it was a little bit disappointing from a gameplay perspective. Realism-wise, it was there, but it did kind of bug me too. And so it's a weird thing, because it's like, do we want realism? And that's another thing that I was talking about earlier. Like, players think they know what they want, but do they really?
Right.
Because everybody was super excited about being a realistic game, but then everybody complained that by late game you were too impossible to kill.
Yeah.
Well, you were asking for realism.
No, that's why I've always argued, and this is in my amateur study of writing, and all the books I've read on it and everything, and I feel the exact same rules can be applied to creating video games, which is that you're the creator. You need to go with your vision, not the mob's vision. Yep, right? Like if 100%. you think this is going to be fun, or you think this is the way it should be, then that's the way it should be, and you should do it that way. And yeah, whether you're writing a story or whether you're making a game, and Kingdom Come Deliverance, like they did not have enough time to finish that game. Not only all the features, but of course the myriad of bugs that they had to deal with on launch. And did I say on launch? On launch, and even in the first month plus, they're still releasing patches to fix bugs. I just saw their tweet the other day.
The last 3 patches have been 200 plus bug fixes.
Yeah. So certainly they didn't get to everything that their vision initially had for it, but like there's a spirit there that you can feel in the game, where like they were able to deploy their vision for that game, and it paid off. It did pay off. Like they had huge sales, after being initially a game that was Kickstarted, that had enough funds to finish the game, basically.
Right.
And it was a huge success, and so good on them, and that's what I hope to see more of. Less EA saying, okay, no single player experience is not the future, blah 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 blah. Screw you, EA. But yeah, smaller development teams like this one, or companies, I guess, that stick with their vision, and that their own vision that they see for gaming, and that's tons of respect for that.
I agree.
All right, so let's move on to a little bit of news here. Now that we're done just kind of shooting the breeze here about our gaming history and our loves and hates when it comes to what we're playing. Sea of Thieves is a game that came out this month. Now, you're playing a lot of it, and I've watched a lot of it and done some reading as well. I actually just sold my Xbox in order to get all the PlayStation exclusives, and honestly, and we'll talk about why, but I never really, the first moment I saw, okay, no, that's not true. The first moment I saw Sea of Thieves, just like everybody else, so one of the demos at E3, or was it, or Gamescom or whatever, and it was, it was like, wow, is this true? This
right.
looks, this could be awesome. And then as soon as that first impression wore off, I was like, no, there's no way this game is going to be anywhere near what I hope it is, or what I hope I'm hearing these people say it's going to be.
E3 impressions are so hard to really meet up to.
Seriously, it's like an art form now, man. It's like how artfully can we deceive the gaming populace out there with our E3 demo?
This game is going to be a real life simulator.
Oh my gosh, yeah! I just like go into the Video Game Hall of Fame for like best deception.
Right.
Well, but I mean, that's probably a little bit unfair, and I'll probably put the burden on you to defend Sea of Thieves a little bit. Because there's been a lot of talk, and I've been on Reddit and talking on my own Discord and Twitch chat, and talking to other streamers, and about the lack of content, the lack of things to do. And certainly that was something I was mentioning in Monster Hunter World, a game that I'm praising for having so many different things to do and so many different ways that you can go when you log in.
Right.
But just kind of a lack of content. So maybe you want to explain just like the really, really short version, what the big like activities in the game are.
Okay, so basically, there's really, if I had to frame it up myself, there's 4 activities.
Okay.
You've got the 3 activities for the 3 different guilds, the factions, and so those 3 factions is a rep grind, right? You got to do these missions to do the rep.
Yes.
The first one is
I've played
treasure
WoW.
chests.
I've done rep grinds for sure.
Yeah. so you have treasure chests, right? So you have to there's 2 types of those quests. You got X marks a spot. You have a picture of an island. There's an X. Go dig up the treasure. The other one is like a clue hunt. So it says like you need to go to this island. You get there and then it gives you some kind of clue, like find the scarecrow and hold up a lantern. And the next clue will be foretold, or something like that. And so you have to follow those until it brings you to the treasure chest.
And that appears on the paper, right? Like you're holding a piece of paper, like the next line just like appears on there once you've completed the task, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And then so that's the one type of quest. The second type of quest is even more simple. Go to this island, kill the skeletons, bring us back the skulls. Mm-hmm. They're super straightforward. And then the third one is trading. It's like, here's a couple chicken crates. Go find me 2 red chickens and 2 white chickens and bring them to this island. And so those are the 3 types of reputation grinds. The 4th activity would be pirating. Actually killing... Oh, I guess there's 5. There's a PvP, sink other ships, just take everything that they've been working for.
Okay.
And then the 5th would be the skull forts, which are like the raid kind of level things. I would call it more... It's not really a raid. I would say it's more like a dungeon, if you wanted to give it an MMO equivalent.
Okay, that's where you just like fight skeletons, right?
Yeah, you go to there's a big skull floating in the sky. You go to the island. It's wave after wave of very strong skeletons. You have to fight those. The problem is everybody else sees the skull and they know what's at stake there. So you end up in a lot of fights. There will be other ships coming in trying to stop you from killing the skeleton so they can get it. Because you get a skeleton key, you unlock it, and there's tons of treasure after you kill it. And so basically everybody wants to kill you while you're trying to kill the skeleton.
Wow. Oh, okay. I was gonna say. When you started, I was like, "Is that?" Because I actually have not seen one of those on stream. I was like, "Oh, so everybody just like joins up and they just go and destroy the castle." It's like, "Oh no, they just try and join up and destroy you."
Oh yeah. So so no joke, man. Last night I had probably one of my best experiences in the game so far. Yeah. We go in. There's a sloop sitting there, a 2-man sloop. We go in, sink them, kill them on the island. And then they have to respawn somewhere else with their ship, right? So we start killing the skeletons. They come back. We get sunk. We come back, sink them, kill them, start killing the skeleton for it again. This happens multiple times. And then the best part is, right, if you die and the enemy dies and you're both waiting to respawn, you're on this little ghost ship. And so I can see them standing there after I killed them, because I killed one of them and then me and the other guy killed each other at the same time. And so both of them are standing there and it's me standing there. I go, hey guys, no hard feelings, it's nothing personal, but this is our treasure. And then their response was, what's your goal here? Eventually a galleon's going to come in and sink us both and take the treasure. And so this happens for a little bit longer, and then a galleon comes in, sinks us both. We come back, we sink the galleon, sink the sloop, and then I jump onto the island, and the guy with the Kia spawned, like the big boss skeleton, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, Grim, the skeleton key's here. I'm going to focus him. You got to keep those ships off of me while I finish this up. So he's like, okay. He's like, the galleon's like 1 minute out. I'm like, okay. So I'm trying to focus this thing. And then somehow there was another guy on the island. He might have shot himself in with a cannon or something. So I'm fighting a guy trying to fight the skeleton guy. He's trying to fight the skeleton boss, kill the skeleton boss. I grab the key. I'm like, I got the key. Get the ship ready to go. We're going to run. I got the key. We'll just take the key with us and come back in like 20, 30 minutes. So I grab the key. I'm almost back to the boat. I get shot in the back by the guy and die. I'm like, Grim, the key's right next to the boat. Jump off and grab it and get out of there. And so I'm stuck on this little ship, this ghost ship. He comes, he's like, oh my God, they killed me. I see him pop up. I'm like, no. I spawn back in. I see the guy running towards his ship. I pull out my sniper rifle, shoot him in the back, grab the key, run away, get back to our ship. We get out of there. It was the most clutch moment in the game. There's 3 ships. on the island shooting cannons, killing each other, and the key is just like it's like one of those crazy plays in football where there's like a triple fumble to a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it was crazy, man. But yeah, so the scroll forts are like the big end game content.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so now, I mean, obviously, you've been having a lot of fun. Do you disagree with the Redditors and then the commenters saying that there isn't enough to keep on there? And I'll actually, or to keep a player playing the game. And I do want to kind of qualify that with this, that you and I as streamers, I honestly believe that we enjoy games in a different way, right?
100%.
I play games and enjoy games in a completely different way than I would if I'm playing off stream or if I just wasn't streaming at all.
True.
And so maybe you can talk a little bit, maybe respond a little bit to the concerns about the lack of content, and certainly the concerns I have. I'm sure you've read all of them. I'm not going to. I might go through some of them after, but I'll go through some of them actually right now, really quick before you answer. But yeah, both answer kind of as a streamer, but also maybe try and put yourselves in the shoes of like the average gamer. Like, I have 5 to 10 hours a week of free time to play some video games, and I have my Xbox. Like, do I really want to spend it playing this game? Is that going to be worthwhile? But I do want to jump in and maybe talk a little bit about the lack of content. And again, obviously I come from my own bias, which is that I don't enjoy emergent content. I don't enjoy just like playing with random people or even with good friends, really, when it comes to like co-op games and creating those experiences with those people, right? I enjoy going on raids in World of Warcraft or like dungeons, right? Like, okay, I'll play with other people, but like to me, it's a completely different experience than just kind of like sailing the high seas and trying to decide what to do. To me, so the couple of my complaints really are this: the variety of ships, the variety of weapons. It just really it honestly just kind of stuns me, actually, that there's so little. I give props for the whole game being smooth and like looking great, everything that is in there, but it stuns me that you would have so little to work with when it comes to the kinds of ships that you can actually sail around in as a pirate. It just seems like something to me where you would have 30 of them, like, honestly, right? Like, I look at the game, like, you should be able to have not just, like, 5 ships, but, like, there should just be a ton of them, and you should be able to, and maybe correct me if there is something like this in the game, but to me, too, like, you should be able to do things like improve your ship. I mean, obviously, we are talking about progression, so maybe it's a slightly different discussion, but, like, can you upgrade your hull, and can you upgrade your rudder, and can you upgrade the steering and the sails and everything? There's nothing in it like that. Okay, so, and even if we remove progression out of it, what about the coloring? I've heard you can like reskin certain things. You can pay, for like different looks to different parts of your ship or everything. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You change the colors and sails. But like, to me, like, man, why are there like different kinds of sails? Like, can you get like triangular sails or like different sizes, things that can set you apart? And again, something I was mentioning early, something that like Vermintide 2 doesn't have. It's like, man, it's all about the gear in the game, but like, you can't really look that different with all the gear that you're getting. And to me, it's like, okay, there is some variety in Sea of Thieves, but man, like, not, you just like, okay, I guess I want red sails. And it's like, okay, I'm going to go out and farm, for the next 4 or 5 hours, just like, so I can buy red sails. It's like, well, that to me, and that kind of I'll sum up my argument there. It's like, ultimately, you could point out different things where like, okay, there's not enough variety here, there's not enough progression here, there's not enough this and that, but ultimately, to me, there's so little to work towards in the game. The game basically comes down to, I want red sails. I can either work to go get red sails, or I can stop playing. Right? Like,
100%.
To me, like, that's like, there's nothing else in the game. And of course, besides the multiplayer aspect, the interaction aspect of it. And so yeah, if you want to respond to that a little bit, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So I'll say this, right? So as far as like progression goes, there is absolutely no progression whatsoever in the game.
Okay.
A level 5 guy with reputation level 5 versus a level 20 guy with reputation for gold hoarders. No difference besides the percentage of chance that you get a better chest when you dig it up. That's it.
Okay.
So progression is non-existent.
Yeah.
But
okay.
from a multiplayer perspective, I stand by that decision 100% on their side. I would defend them to the end.
Okay.
That any progression. So I see this game as a notoriously casual game. This is like next level casual play. So for the guy, for the person that
casual. I love it.
Yeah. So like is moving your casual gamers from the phone to the console and PC. And so that's how I see the game.
Okay.
And so for the guy that has 5 to 10 hours to play a week, this is the perfect game because he may only have 5 hours, but that doesn't set him back as far as like how well he can fight somebody else than the guy that plays 60 hours a week. There's no difference between him and them, those two guys. So he has just as fair of a chance going into the world and defending his chests on his ship as the guy that plays 60 hours. So that's where I think the lack of progression is a fantastic choice on their part, because it really does help breed that casual feel to the game. You can play it as seriously as you want, but that casual guy can still do everything that I can do. And that's what I think they were going for. I don't think they're going for like, the next esports game or anything like that, right? That's the opposite of their goal. And this is purely opinion. But yeah. But as far as like lack of actual content, so that's just to cover the progression side. The lack of content side of it, I could see that. I really could. The lack of like ship choices, I agree. And as a matter of fact, most of the time, what we're talking about while I'm streaming the game is, what would be really cool if they added, like that sentence beginning.
Yeah,
probably happens like 30 or 40 times a stream.
Sure.
And so I can definitely see a lack of content.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this: it's extremely refreshing to have played a game on day one, 2 hours after it launched, and it worked. It played. There was no broken quest lines.
Sure.
I dropped the sails. I went to the island. I would dig up the chest and I'd turn it in, and everything happened.
And it worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but see, okay, but my counter to that, Master, is dude, that. It's like, okay, it's like the the boy who's been like cheated on so many times that he like settles for some girl that like maybe like right like way below his
100%, right? Like why should we set the bar so low to have a game launch and it works and that's what excites us about it?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's no good. We can't be like that, especially not as streamers. Come on, we got to be the role models here, Master.
Indeed, I do agree. And so. And I've actually talked offline to in Discord to some of my people about this, right?
Yeah.
And there's a thing that no gamer knows that they want, but they want it. They just don't know it yet. But I promise you guys want it, right? And it's gaming as a service. And I've actually heard this term thrown around negatively recently, like gaming as a service. Why it's such a bad thing? You guys want this. You just don't know it. And I'll frame it up like this, right?
Okay.
Software.
We definitely don't want to get gouged, right? That's the first thing when you say that, right? Price gouged,
right? Yeah, we don't want to get price gouged.
We don't 100%. Want Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2. I was like, wait, what is it? Yeah, Battlefront 2, which is like ridiculously costly. And encouraged, spending money on progression type deal.
Yeah, so that's not really so that's in my opinion, a really bad example of what gaming as a service should be.
Okay.
So gaming as a service, if you look in the software industry, and I know this is a little bit off topic, but just to kind of prove my point a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. In the software industry, even word processors and production suites are moving to software as a service. Look at Creative Cloud, right? You used to be able to go out and buy Adobe Premiere and Adobe Audition separately as parts of software. You would buy it in 2011. You have to buy it again in 2015 because they released a new version of it. They would stop supporting the old one. Well, now you buy Creative Cloud, you pay a subscription service, which we all can agree sucks. Yeah. Well, nobody likes paying a subscription service, but you get the newest, latest updates. You never have to worry about software changeovers. You never have to worry about uninstalling the old version and installing the new one. Mm-hmm. And you get all of the updates free. I mean, you're paying a service, but you get all the newest features and additions. You're not paying for them, right?
Right.
And the same thing with Microsoft Office. They moved to 365. And as my point, enterprise businesses, you're talking businesses with like 60,000 employees, they freaked out about it. They're like, why would we want to pay Microsoft a monthly subscription fee? Why would we want to pay Adobe a monthly subscription fee? That doesn't make any sense. We'll just buy the software. We don't like this. 5 years later, they wouldn't, literally all these enterprises couldn't even imagine going back and doing it the old way because it's so much better. Because you get the updates on the spot. You don't have to wait 6 months for them to get verified. You don't have to wait for the enterprise purchase decision makers to decide, okay, it's finally time to upgrade. You're never going to be behind. And the same thing happens in gaming, right? So once you move into gaming as a service like Sea of Thieves, on like Battlefield or Battlefront, you're looking at a game where you get a platform. You're paying for a platform, and you buy into it, and then everything else in the future comes out free. So you may be paying $60 today, and arguably you can get $20 of content. But you're getting 8, 9, 10 years worth of content for free after that.
Well,
and that's where the gaming as a service comes in.
Yeah, so you would hope so. You would hope so, right? My mind immediately then goes to Rainbow Six Siege, where, I mean, Ubisoft is almost as evil as EA, really.
Yeah,
from that
they're holding
perspective.
hands.
Yeah, exactly. But they're releasing these DLC, these costly DLC with new characters and everything in them. And then there was a news story just a couple months ago where they increased the price of the base game. They realized people were playing Rainbow Six Siege, and now they've added all this content, it's gotten a lot better. And so then they upped the price of the base game after the game came out several years ago, and it's been slowly going down. Yeah, they bump it back up.
Yeah, that's super toxic.
Yeah,
and that should be frowned upon. And one thing I'll say address this with is gamers forget that they vote with their dollars. And I've been saying this about loot crates forever. If you don't want loot crates, stop buying them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It is. They're like, but I don't get to play my game. It's like, well, dude, if you hate loot crates, stop playing games that support loot crates.
Yeah, exactly. Go be like the guy that was in my stream last night that was HR 500 in Monster Hunter World, which apparently equates to probably 300 to 400 hours of playing the game. And it's okay, $60, some free updates, that's it. There's zero loot boxes, zero anything.
Yeah.
It's if you're gonna be dedicated to a game, pick the right one.
100%.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely into that. I certainly understand that part. But so basically what you're saying about Sea of Thieves is that you should you just need to think carefully about your purchase and realize that what you're purchasing at $60 is a long-term sort of gamer investment.
Yeah,
rather than just $60 and I want to have fun with this game right now.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, and it depends on what you're looking for out of fun. If you were going to buy it today, just know that you're looking at emergent gameplay. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be buying it in a year, you're going to be looking at more content, more PvE stuff. Because their focus and what they claim was their focus was releasing a game that's fun to play and competitive initially. And then they wanted to do PvE moving forward.
Okay, so that's your stance about when I was, my initial question way back when about you putting yourself into the shoes of just a casual gamer, right? Not a streamer. You think do you think somebody in that position should buy the game? And kind of another question on top of that: do you think people who are in that position who did bought the game are satisfied?
If you're a casual gamer and you have 5 to 10 hours, buy it. You'll love it. If you're looking for a game that will, consume your nights every day of the week for 4 to 5 hours, and you're not into emergent gameplay, wait.
Interesting.
Wait until there's more content.
Okay, fair enough. I will definitely respond to that. My personal opinion is that you probably shouldn't buy the game at all unless right now, unless you have a squad of guys that likes, or girls, of course, who enjoy spending a lot of time in a game like this. Maybe you're all casual. Maybe you're all casual gamers, so you don't have a lot of time in general. But the time you do have, you enjoy spending it together in a game like this. To me, the casual gamer, those 5 to 10 hours could be spent having so much more fun, earning so many more things, and having such higher level, I think, experiences, doing other things. But there you go. That's why it's called the Real Bias Podcast.
Right.
You wholehearted agree, and I respect that. I respect that stance. There you go. So last bit of news that I do want to cover here is Prodigy. So Prodigy, actually, you know what? Do you want to take the? Do you want to give the quick summary of the situation with him?
Yeah. So essentially, Prodigy is a streamer that historically likes to find loopholes in games to make his life easier and everybody else's lives more difficult. And this is verified by some of his more avid viewers.
Sure. I'm sensing a bias already. All right.
Yes.
This is good. Keep going.
So he basically what he did was he kind of broke the game, Sea of Thieves. What he did was he became the very first pirate legend, which means he maxed out all 3 of the reputations. Mm-hmm. And he did it within, I believe it was 7-8 days after release. But he actually never played. Yeah. But he never actually really played the game. So he's the highest level, very first legendary pirate. He didn't know how to change songs on his instruments. Didn't know how to block with a sword. Didn't know what a vanity chest was, which is where you change the way you look. And like you said, the main point of the gameplay at this point is to go earn money to buy new things, look cooler. He didn't know what it was. And he's the highest level guy in the game. So he got carried. The way he did it was he went through, he had some of his viewers, by some, I've heard 7 crews. So he had 7 crews out on ships. He would, when they got, a bunch of treasure on board, one of them would leave, send him an invite, he would join, they would turn it in, he would make all the reputation.
Yeah.
And then he would go to the next crew, get all the reputation, just cycling through those 7 crews.
Wow. And so for my first initial question there is there anything else for him to do in the game?
No. He ruined the game for himself.
Okay, so he got to the end and there is literally nothing else besides, of course, as I'm actually almost getting sick of mentioning this caveat, but besides the fact that the emergent gameplay, right? The role playing, the personal storytelling is there and available to him. But besides that, as far as gameplay mechanics, there's nothing else for him to do.
Yep, he beat the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that cracks me up. How do you beat an emergent gameplay open world multiplayer game? What the heck? And okay, right? so he had the system. Now, I actually found this quote. So listen to this. Let me see, where do I want to start here? Okay, let me start with the opening paragraph. This is from Polygon, by the way. The supportive nature of this community, as the streamer describes it, was lost. Oh yeah, so Prodigy talks about how everything they talk about on his stream is positive. They don't bash games, they don't bash other streamers, all that. Okay, so then Polygon says the supportive nature of this community, as the streamer describes it, was lost on Redditors that jumped in to watch at the tail end of the stream. Seeing other low-level players carry the weight of someone much more highly ranked stoked their ire, in part due to Prodigy admittedly taking a breather right as he headed toward the Pirate Legend Quest's finish line, and launched their anti-streamer backlash. And then, so this is a quote from Prodigy. People honestly thought that from level 1 to 50, I just got free loot, he said. Quote, I was AFK and they were judging just off that. That's where people took that and made it bigger, way bigger than expected. I can tell a lot of people didn't watch from the beginning, which is understandable, but you can't say that I wasn't playing it right from the very beginning of the game. So, so that's interesting. He, in a way, he actually said that pretty well. He kind of covers himself there a little bit. A little bit. He talks about playing the game right. Which, of course, inherently, being a pirate game, being an open world game, being a emergent gameplay kind of game, what is the right way to play the game?
Right. 100%.
Yeah, but wow, so he got there in 8 days. I mean, okay, so let me ask you then a question too. 8 days. How long do you think it would take you if you were committed to getting Pirate Legend?
So I play 8 hours a day.
Okay.
I played since the moment of launch.
Yeah.
I am at, right now, my 3 reputations are 33, 32, 32.
Okay.
And I can't say I've been grinding the whole time, but I have been progressing the whole time. So realistically, the reputation grind, you played MMOs, it drops off significantly in your progression. So I would say we're probably a little bit less than halfway there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
roughly 8 levels to go, yeah.
Yeah, so we're probably talking another 2-3 weeks of straight grind. If we were really trying to grind it out with nothing else, not doing PvP or anything.
Okay, fair enough. And he finished it in 8 days. Incredible. Jeez. This is so like, I mean, this is interesting. Do you think this speaks to the game at all? Do you think this is bad for the game? I mean, obviously it's not bad for Prodigy. Like he gets all this publicity, right? I mean, the age old, and not only, I wouldn't even call it you don't even need to say age old adage of like, no, or all press is good press, right? Because it does seem like more and more when it comes to Twitch that the only kind of good press is bad press.
Yeah, and I think it speaks a lot about the Twitch community, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. And Reddit.
And Reddit. Yep. I think Reddit has become a hotbed for just building and devising echo chambers, where people with similar beliefs bounce ideas off each other, and anybody that opposes their views will be removed from that community. And as far as Twitch is concerned, I find it a little bit disheartening that, I mean, more than just Prodigy, but across the board, all these negative articles that are coming about certain streamers and certain things is bringing them more publicity and more positivity, more money.
Yeah.
And is that really what we want as a community?
Right. And that's, speaking of, well, okay, I'm going to go ahead and here's I'm going to wave my virtue signaling flag here really quick. You mentioned speaking with your wallet, right? You don't like loot crates, don't buy them, all that. And I personally, and I just want to say this because what I really want to do is encourage anybody that listens to this, and you included, Master, is like, I followed Dr. Disrespect, like 6 months ago, or no, it was like last summer. Oh wow, that was a while ago, wasn't it? Already April 2018. Geez. So almost it's probably like 10 months ago. Then I followed Dr. Disrespect, and I'd watch him casually every once in a while. But that whole controversy came up with him, and he quit streaming for a little while. And the day he came back, I hopped into his stream and unfollowed. And I refused to watch somebody who, whether or not you can judge what they did or if they paid for it, right? But he got, exceptionally famous, exceptionally more famous because of all that press, and made so much more money because of all. Right? I'm not going to argue that he was a nobody before that happened. But he came right back and had like 120,000 viewers, right?
Right.
And that's the kind of thing that, I would hope as Twitch grows a little bit more, we would see more of that kind of thing where, okay, somebody does something morally reprehensible, and we respond by giving other people our attention. I mean, that's just the way you hope the world works, right?
Right. Yeah, I agree. I'm in no way a PC guy, right? Like, I'm not a part of that PC community in any way, shape, or form. But I agree. It's like when somebody does something so blatant, and then they make a short video saying, "Sorry, I'm going to leave for a little bit." It's become a thing on Twitch and YouTube. Oh man, I did something absolutely wretched.
Yeah,
I'm going to take a break and let this cool down and come back and be super famous.
Well, you know what? It's PR. It's PR 101, really. It's politicians have been doing this for years. For years, a scandal comes out. All you have to do is disappear for a little bit until people forget, and then you come back.
It's absurd.
Yeah, it is.
And I think, speaking of so much emergent gameplay today, right? And Twitch itself is emergent, right? It's a brand new industry. It feels old. It feels like it's mature, but it's not. Where it's still figuring itself out. It's still that preteen that thinks it knows what it is, but it has no idea. And so I think as viewers and as streamers, you and I, it's our job to help start to define and start, molding this community, not just our personal communities, but Twitch as a whole.
Right.
And really make it what we want it to be. Because right now, it is that preteen. It's impressionable. Let's use our power.
It's funny you mentioned that. One of the reasons why I love being on Twitch is I used to be a middle school teacher. Like, I literally spent the majority of my day for about 4 years, right, working with preteen kids, that would get into trouble, that would do things they shouldn't, trying to figure themselves out, or so cocky that they thought they had figured themselves out. It's one of the reasons why I love working with Twitch. And certainly I want to clarify that is by no means a diss on the viewers, right? The people that come and join chat. I'm not saying everybody that watches me is like a middle schooler and I just treat them like a middle schooler. No. We're talking about the platform.
The platform. Yeah, the platform as a whole is the preteen. Yeah. That's good. I didn't think about. Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun. Okay, interesting. So it's hard for me as I look at this article. It's hard for me to give a truly biased opinion, because for me the issue is deeper, right? I think the game itself is kind of inherently flawed, and it is in many ways inherently bad for the industry, right? And so, like, how can I really look at Prodigy and this whole story in a light that's separate from the fact that those other frustrations that I have, those other frustrations.
So this is my problem with Prodigy. Not that he did it, right? Like, there's more to it than that. My problem with Prodigy and the way that he's done this. So don't get me wrong. I played a lot of games where there's lots of things that I could have exploited, but I don't. As a matter of fact, just a random example, and it actually has to do with Sea of Thieves. Playing with a random, and I said, "Hey, have you ever done a skull fort before?" He said, "No." And I said, "Okay, we're going to do it the right way. I know you can cheese it, and I know you probably have watched other Twitch streamers that have cheesed it by just sitting on the bank and using cannons to kill all the skeletons. We're going to do it the right way because this is your first time." And so that's who I am. I want to do things the right way. And
the way they were intended,
an influencer, I'm an influencer. When people see me do things, I realize, I'm probably not. I realize I'm not a huge influencer, right? I'm not some gigantic streamer that influences thousands of people.
Obviously,
but there are people that I have influence over, and by making a YouTube video, I could influence somebody, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to do the wrong thing because I have morals.
Sure.
I'm going to say, I wouldn't want somebody else to do this if I made a game, so I'm going to do the right thing and not do it. And to me, it speaks a lot about his character.
Okay.
And who he is as a person. Not so much that the game is flawed and that it's the game's fault. Because every game has flaws. You can exploit any game.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay, we're getting a little philosophical there, but basically, he's operating under the belief that because I can do it this way, I will.
Yeah.
Right, and you're operating on there's a higher power kind of deciding what is right and wrong here.
Right. Well, I mean, because if you put it into real life examples, right? Like, I could steal a car. There's not much stopping me.
Right.
But I don't because it's morally reprehensible.
Well, the difference being that there are actual real world consequences for you stealing a car, whereas there are literally no consequences. And again, as we mentioned, actually positive consequences for Prodigy for doing this because of all the good press.
But I guess that's where the word integrity comes into play, right?
Sure, yeah.
It's about how much integrity do you hold.
Yeah.
And for me, like, so it's probably my military background, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But my military background tells me, don't do things because it's the easy way. Do it the right way.
Yeah.
And especially if there's people watching. Like, you should always do it no matter what. But if there's people watching and you're going to influence the way that other people interact with the world around you, do things the right way.
Yeah. No, I'm completely on board with that. And if for no other reason, though there are other reasons as you're mentioning, but if for no other reason on stream, then it fits the character, right? It
Right.
fits what you want the stream to be. It fits the kind of person that you want to be as a streamer. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So let's move on to our final question here, and then we'll get going. But I am interested in asking, Master, what games are you looking forward to playing on stream? And since we'll probably be back at it here pretty soon, let's not go long term. Let's just simply, what games are you going to play in the next 2 weeks on stream?
Next 2 weeks, a lot of Sea of Thieves. Mm-hmm. So my goal is become a legendary pirate. I want to get that legendary status
in 2 weeks. You think that'll happen in 2 weeks?
Ooh, man. That's my goal.
That's the goal. All right.
That's now my goal.
There you go. Fair enough. For myself, it's going to be a lot of Monster Hunter World. I'm thinking about, I'd like to try out Star Citizen. I'd like to get in a little bit more, or not a little bit more, but I'd like to kind of put my foot in the door on the alpha for Star Citizen.
Have you already paid for it?
No, I actually have not. Because I was planning on doing this weekend or next weekend. But you can buy in on their website. You can buy into the base game.
Yep.
So, yeah. Have you?
That's
have
a
you
game
played
I'm
much
staying
of that?
away. No, I'm staying away from it completely.
Yeah. Fair enough. I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos last night on different people with their opinions on, like, will the game ever come out? Is this a scam?
Yeah, and that's one of those things, like, we've seen it before, right? It's been out there. The games like this have, hyped up for years and years and years and then died. And to be honest, man, the guy making it, I can't think of his name right now, but he's one of those Robert. So he's one of those visionaries. Yeah. That every time he dreams up a new idea, he's like, I'm going to add it into the game. It's like, man, release the game. Yeah. Finish what you started.
Yeah. Well, he's already dreamed up so much good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, man, I love your dream, but stop dreaming and start making. You're only going to live so long, man.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Well, I just... I want to believe it's going to be real, and obviously, like everybody else, since the first videos came out, I've been thinking like this would be the game that I will play for the rest of my life.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I would really like to get involved, because I'd like to see, assuming that it does ever get released, I would like to start kind of every couple months or maybe every like big patch update to be able to hop back in, experience the game, see what's happening, give a report. And so it's something I've been thinking about for a while, and again, it's one of those perks of being a streamer. Like, if I was just a casual gamer still, I would never be touching Star Citizen, no doubt.
Right.
But I have all this time where I'm playing games every single week now, every single day, and that gives me the opportunity to try some stuff that is more just like, well, I'm just going to do it because I want to.
Yeah, why not? Right.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, Master, where can we see you playing Sea of Thieves, dude?
Twitch.tv/Masterofpwnage2.
Excellent.
We also upload some videos to my YouTube channel, just Masterofpwnage Gaming.
All right, Masterofpwnage Gaming. And again, my name is James. My Twitch handle, twitch.tv/RealBiasedGaming. I'm playing Monster Hunter World, and potentially, hopefully, some Star Citizen coming up in the next couple weeks. And looking forward to streaming for all you guys. All right, any last words, Master?
I'll be watching you play some of that Star Citizen to see what it's all about.
No, there we go. Sounds good. Yeah, man. And I'm gonna keep hosting you at the end of my streams and chilling out watching some Sea of Thieves, my dude.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for being here on this first round of the Real Biased podcast. Hope to see you, all you lovely people, or hear you, or hope to grace your ears with our beautiful voices once again in the future. Until next time.